In this report, I share the cost to retire in Istanbul, Turkey, including rents, utilities, groceries, restaurants, transportation, and other expenses for low to middle range living costs. After completing our retirement research in Sri Lanka, we headed to Istanbul, Turkey. I've always loved the Turkish beaches and culture, and many of you wanted to know what it would cost to retire there on a tight budget. Although we started our tour of Turkey, where we landed in Istanbul, we also will be putting our feet on the ground in a few of the beach towns on the Mediterranean Sea, in case you're wondering about that. So subscribe and hit the notifications bell for that. If this is the first you've heard of us, you can browse hundreds of retired cheap reports all over the world according to your favorite countries on our Vagabond Awake YouTube playlist. Istanbul has amazing public transportation, so you will not need a car to get around. But we stayed in the historical cultural center of Istanbul, so we could show you some of the highlights in this video. But we will also show you one of our favorite neighborhoods where we would like to live if we retired here. It was only about a 10-minute tram ride from the historical center to our favorite neighborhood. In this report, I'll share my retirement desirability factors such as visa, medical, walkability, internet, food, weather, things to do, social considerations, expat community, real estate, and my overall retirement desirability score for Istanbul. But first, I want to share my estimated cost of living converted into US dollars if the two of us move to Istanbul year-round on a tight budget. We will also include more typical expenses we've heard from other expats to give you another data point. Okay, estimated cost to retire in Istanbul, Turkey. Rents. I found this furnished studio apartment for rent for $556 US per month, right next to my favorite area in the city for long term. If you rent for a shorter period on Airbnb, it would be much more expensive. If you rented a larger home or townhouse long term, the rent would be higher, starting around $800 per month, depending upon area and size. Here's the process we use to find great apartments. So we'll show you a table of all the expenses in a moment. We will use $556 per month for our lower rent estimate and $800 per month for the middle cost of living estimate for expats that want more space. Okay, utilities. We estimate that the year-round average for our utilities would be about $60 per month. The utilities would cost more for the larger space, starting at around $80 per month. Groceries. When possible, we would purchase fruits and vegetables from small shops and street vendors to save money. But we would also shop in grocery stores for non-perishable foods and other things like shampoo and detergents. We estimate about $270 per month for groceries. Other expats are likely to shop more often in expensive grocery stores, often spending more than $375 per month on groceries. Restaurants. We would eat out twice per week, mostly in more local style restaurants, averaging about $10 per meal per person, and one or two splurges per month of about $15 per person in more expat style or expensive restaurants. If you add all that up, we'd spend around $220 per month for the two of us in restaurants. We may have a beer here and there, but that's covered below under alcohol. Other expats are likely to eat in more Western-style foods in expensive expat-style restaurants and less in the local-style restaurants. So they would likely spend more like $300 per month for two people in restaurants. It is all lifestyle dependent, of course. Okay, cell phone data. The cost to get a prepaid SIM card for your unlocked smartphone is about $10 per month. My Android phone would act as a hotspot so we can both be on the internet at the same time when we are out of the house together. Other expat couples are likely to buy two prepaid SIM cards, so they would spend about $20 per month for cell phone data. Laundry. A 5 kg machine at a laundromat is about $4 wash and dry, so we would spend about $25 US per month on laundry. Drinking water. We didn't see reverse osmosis delivery in 20-liter jugs here, so we would probably get a Brita water filter for the refrigerator pitcher kind. The filter refills would be about $5 per month. Internet, 60 megabits per second, up and down, is about $12 for in-home Wi-Fi. Transportation, the buses and trains in Istanbul were charging us 18 TL, or about 50 cents per person each way. That's 50 cents US. We estimate about $30 per month for transportation. Other expats might spend more riding taxis or Uber and less on public transportation, so I estimate about $60 per month for them. Okay, alcohol, which is optional, of course. Domestic beer in grocery stores in Istanbul are about 50 Turkish lira, or $1.50 US. In bars and restaurants, domestic beer ranges from about 70 to 100 Turkish lira, which is $2 to $3 US. So we estimate we'd spend about $120 per month on alcohol for the two of us. Many other expats would spend a higher amount for imported, foreign, or craft beers in expat bars. So about $200 per month for two people for alcohol, assuming they're not into imported whiskey or wine. Entertainment, which is also optional, of course, we would budget about $200 per month for entertainment for the two of us. We generally enjoy more do-it-yourself kinds of entertainment, so expats would spend a little more, maybe $300 per month for the two of them. Okay, let's sum it up. Estimated cost to retire in Istanbul, Turkey. The lower first, $556 per month for rent, utilities $60, groceries $270, restaurants $220, cell data $10, laundry $25, drinking water $5, internet $12, transportation $30. Those basic costs, if you add it up, would be $1,188 US dollars per month. Add the optional alcohol of $120, it puts you at $1,308. Add $200 entertainment, that would put you at $1,508. If you look at the middle range and add up the basic costs, that would put you at $1,677. If you add the optional alcohol, it would be at $1,897, and optional entertainment would put you at $2,197. The above lower estimated cost of living would be if the two of us lived in Istanbul, Turkey on a tight budget. The middle estimate is just an example of what other expats might spend if they moved here. To understand what it would cost you to live here, you must put your feet on the ground, see how you would choose to live, eat, and entertain yourself, and add it all up. It doesn't matter what anyone else spends because we are all different. Where we would live in Istanbul. We love this area of Istanbul. It's more expensive than other areas of Istanbul that are further from the center, but we really love this area. It has amazing nightlife, restaurants, and shopping. It's also had a funky, kind of hip crowd that hung around this area, so the people watching was amazing. Plus, it is a short distance from public transportation, so you could get all over Istanbul quickly and cheaply. Istanbul, Turkey livability factors. Before you move anywhere outside your home country, make sure to create a list of things you must have for your happy retirement. Here are my livability factors, and I will rank them as high, medium, or low before assigning an overall retirement desirability score to Istanbul. Walkability, I would say high. Unless it is raining, we would walk everywhere in Istanbul within 2 kilometers. When we wanted to go further, we would just hop on the public transportation. To find out how to use the public transportation, just go to Google Maps, put where you want to go, and then hit the public transportation button near the top. It looks like a little bus. Google will tell you where to go to catch the bus or train and where to go to get off. The prices are reasonable, and you don't have to worry about where to park your car when you arrive. Okay, internet, I would say high. In-home Wi-Fi is about 30 megabits per second, down and 20 up. Good enough for us to do Zoom calls, upload YouTube videos, and watch Netflix. We were also able to use our cell phones as hotspots all over Istanbul, Turkey, without paying anything extra. Okay, food, high. Once you get out of the oldest part of town, which is anywhere within 2 kilometers of the Hagia Sophia or the Blue Mosque, the food is often amazing. There are foods from all over the world in Istanbul, and the Turkish food is also amazing. However, the prices can be very high, so do your research to find your budget. You'll find small family-owned restaurants in neighborhoods with dishes for like $5 to $10. If we lived here, we would have a tendency to cook more than we would in other parts of the world in order to keep our total food budget within reason. Okay, weather, I would say medium. If you like seasons but not snow, then I would rate it high. Daily highs average from about 48 Fahrenheit, which is 9 Celsius in January, up to about 85 Fahrenheit, which is 29 Celsius in July for daytime highs. Nightly lows average from about 37 Fahrenheit, which is 3 Celsius in January, up to about 69 Fahrenheit or 21 Celsius in August. The oceans surrounding the city keep it cooler than interior cities. If you only plan to visit, the best time to come is April, May, September, or October. The rainy season is October through February. Things to do. Hi. Istanbul is the capital of Turkey, and there's endless things to do here. Museums, live music, people watching, culture tours, coffee shops, shopping, malls, nightlife, partying, studying its ancient history, photography, yoga, martial arts. You're also just a bus ride away from some of the most beautiful beaches on the Mediterranean here in Turkey. Plus, you're just a short flight to Europe and Asia. But if you would prefer to live at the beach, stay tuned. I'll be showing you my favorite places there pretty soon. Okay, social considerations. Estimates are that around 49% of the people living in Istanbul speak English. We found that to be a conservative estimate during our visit. The people are very friendly and helpful here. I don't believe you'll face any additional challenges because you are a foreigner. Safety considerations. The most common petty crime in Istanbul is pickpocketing and is often carried out by children. Nothing valuable should be in an unsecured pocket, front or back. Here are my thoughts on how to remain safe all over the world. Also, the U.S. State Department issues travel advisories for each part of the world, which you should be aware of. Turkey is level 2 right now, which is exercise increased caution from normal. We often travel to level 2 locations like this, so this was not a concern for us, but you should at least be aware, nevertheless. Expat community. You'll see expats from all over the world here. About 1 million of the 16 million people living in Istanbul are foreigners. Here are a few Facebook expat pages that cater explicitly to English-speaking expats living in Istanbul. There's 3 of them here. If you would like to learn how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 16 years and how I pay for things, grab a free copy of my ebook. These online expat communities are great for learning all about things that expats want to learn when they first move overseas. But do check each before asking any specific questions. You'll often find that someone has already asked and your question's already been answered recently, so don't waste their time by asking it again before checking. That way they'll be willing to answer any new questions you have that have not yet been asked. Okay, medical. I've never needed healthcare in Turkey, but we have read that the healthcare in Turkey is as good as the EU or the USA, but it is much cheaper, as much as 70% cheaper. But my personal experience all over the world is that even in places with excellent healthcare and prices, you should take an active role not only in understanding your care and getting second opinions, but also picking doctors you consult based upon advice from others that have used their services. The Facebook expat pages shared above are often a good source for that kind of information from someone with personal experience if you don't know other expats or locals that have used certain doctors. Okay, tourist visa. The Turkish government now has an 𝗖visa webpage that both Chung and I use to determine that we do not need a visa before flying to Turkey. But you should check before you fly because rules change all the time. I'll provide a link to that. Many countries, including Americans and Malaysian, that's what we are, can stay in Turkey for 90 days upon entry. We had an exit flight and accommodations ready to show immigration officials upon entry, but they didn't ask to see either. They stamped both of our passports, allowing 90 days upon entry. Okay, retirement visa. There's no retirement visa per se in Turkey. On paper, there are several visas available, but the one that seems to be still working well is called the property purchase visa. But you have to be very careful to make sure that you pick a property that fulfills the minimum purchase price and is also in an area that qualifies. According to this source, link provided, the minimum purchase price is now $200,000 US. To qualify for the extended 2-year property purchase visa, you'll need to purchase a property of that price range and be in a qualified area. But you also need proper advice to verify that it is fulfills the 200K property price and that it's in an area that qualifies. But if you decide to use the source link that is shown above, please complete your due diligence on that, because I do not know this source personally. It's just a video that you can watch. They also have marriage visas and family visas. They also have student visas, work visas, language course visas, and business visas. But they are delayed and refused often, so do not depend on those. But the right immigration lawyer may be able to thread that needle for you. Okay, real estate. Apparently foreigners can own real estate in Turkey, as proven by the property purchase visa. However, I do not recommend buying real estate in a foreign country until you've lived there for an extended period of time, making sure you love it. So do multiple of the 90-day visas to make sure you love the place before you make that kind of decision. You should also get your own lawyer that has no conflict of interest with you. For example, do not use a lawyer recommended by your real estate broker or local lover. Istanbul, Turkey, overall desirability score. I would say high. I love the high energy and excitement that I feel walking around Istanbul. It is a vibrant, culturally rich town filled with people from all over the world. Could you please help me with something? You've probably watched our guest star interviews on our guest star playlist. I interview people that have retired overseas. They share valuable information such as cost of living, safety concerns, finding love overseas, healthcare experiences, and money problems. If you'd like to share something that you have learned living overseas, please come to vagabondbuddha.com, click the More tab, click the Contact Me tab, and tell me about what you would like to share with my channel. But I'm more of a city person. Chung's more of a small town or beach person, which I also love. So we probably live in a beach town if we decided to retire in Turkey. So subscribe so you'll get our beach town reports for Turkey. What would it cost you to live in Istanbul, Turkey? To get a better understanding of things you should add to our estimated cost of living, watch this video, 9 reasons you can't retire on $1,000 a month overseas. There's a link here for that. Most people will be unable to retire for the lower range estimate above. I give example reasons why in this report. Plus, this other report explains how to avoid coming home early with your tail between your legs. Also, if you're going to try to retire cheap offshore, make sure to read my report, The 2 Biggest Risks of Retiring Early for Cheap Offshore, which explains why you should have emergency funds available for unexpectedly large expenses. You should also add anything to the above table that you spend money on in your home country that's not listed in the table. Presumably, you find those things necessary in life. To do that, visit Numbeo for Istanbul and add anything not mentioned in the table. There's a link for that here also. Never move anywhere until you have visited first personally to verify the living costs for your lifestyle needs. I'm not guaranteeing these prices. These are just my notes and estimates from the time of my visit and this post. Your costs will likely be drastically different depending on your lifestyle and the time since this post. My written report on retiring in Istanbul, including where we stayed, things to see and do, and our favorite restaurants in Istanbul, click the first link in the comments below this video. And make sure to click the free ebook link on screen now to learn how I have paid for a life of travel for 17 years and watch my video of my favorite places to retire for pennies overseas in 2024 on screen now. Thanks for watching my video.